do this today, I'm going to tell you what's going on here. And the flow, I think you may have already seen it, but I just want to reiterate it very quickly. And thank you for joining part of Success Fest 21, stepping into your calling, your purpose, and your power. Thank you, and welcome to the session today. What we're going to do today, I'm going to give a small intro of myself. I'm not going to make it about me today. It's not about me, but it's about you, Jessica, and you, Billy, today. And if the other one join, it'll be about them also. But I just want to get your opinions today based on that. And I won't talk you to death. So I'm just going to give a brief intro of myself. As I said, I'm Tommy Nash. I am a 25-year retired naval officer, and I work for the federal government now, and I live in Stafford, Virginia. So I have over 40 years of leadership, and I've seen the good and the bad. And hopefully we can talk about some of the good, but not just that today. We're going to talk about other things: your calling, your purpose, and your power. And I know you all have something to share. So without further ado, we're going to try to get some intros from you both. Tell us your name, where you're from, and what you do, and what you're passionate about in about 2 minutes or so. So we'll start with you, Jessica, if you would, please.
Okay. There is a third person that joined. Did you see that?
No.
Hi, it's Artisha. Dr. Tommy, can you hear me?
Oh, here we go. Artisha, how are you?
I'm doing well, and I would like the record to reflect I was on time, by the skin of my butt, but I was on time. So
that's okay.
I want to jump right in with everyone else.
You didn't miss anything. I was just giving my intro, and like I said, it's not about me today, so you still didn't miss anything. But what we're doing now, we're doing intros for you all. And Jessica was kind enough to volunteer to start us off.
All right.
Yeah. My name's Jessica Moose. I am a single full-time working mom as a plant manager for an insulation manufacturer here in Pennsylvania. And on my free time, I am a life coach and motivational speaker. I started this journey in 2019 after some trauma and realized this is where I need to be. This is my calling, my purpose. And here I am going to share a little bit more about my journey and why I am doing what I'm doing.
Wonderful. Thank you for that. When you say Pennsylvania, I am going to cross my fingers. Are you a Steeler fan?
No. What fan? I'm sorry.
Steelers fan?
Oh, yeah.
Steelers? All right.
Yes.
I just had to ask. I had to know.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Billy, tell us about yourself.
Hello, everyone. I am B.L.Johnson. I am a mother of 4, grandmother of 6. I am currently a stay-at-home grandmother due to an illness, but I'm doing good. I'm currently pursuing my degree in psychology, and I just published my first book, and it's titled Depression and the Woman of God, My Journey to Healing. And I am the voice for my sisters that haven't found their voice yet. And I hope that I will inspire others to find their voice, to voice their opinions, to find their purpose, and to walk in their purpose. We all have a purpose.
Okay, now. All right, I'm listening. Okay, thank you. Artisha, tell us about you.
Absolutely. Hello, everyone. I am Artisha T. Boulding. I also go by the Mindset Midwife. I am an empowerment coach in addition to being a published author and podcaster. My specialty is working with women and entrepreneurs to get them out of the stuck place. I motivate them to birth their business, book, or brand. I ensure that the place that they are moving to is in alignment with their passion and purpose. And like my sister panelists have already said, I actually got thrust into this work on the tail end of a near tragic illness, and I survived that. And because of that situation, the idea of legacy was highlighted for me. And so my mission is to work with individuals on building their legacy and living their dream life right now.
Absolutely. Wonderful. Thank you so kindly. You know, with all this knowledge today, we should expect some great responses, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. So let's talk about this. What we're here to talk about is here to talk about stepping into your calling, your purpose, and your power. However, first, before I get to the question, I want to briefly point out a few things about your calling, your purpose, and your power, which I could, if you know, it could be called your destiny, if you think about it. So, you know, we hear the phrase about stepping into your power and your calling and all of that. But what does that really mean? I mean, how does someone do that? We'll talk about that today. Uh, my perspective is to be in your calling and your power, not to be a forceful or manipulative or aggressive. On the contrary, I believe, I think you should be in alignment with this. You know, this is a Nashism. That's what I'm thinking. Uh, so to me, it also means to trust that you're in the right place at the right time. You know, not afraid to be in your own skin, and but also reminds me of something, a book by T.D. Jakes and called Instinct. Yes, and you know, the power to unleash your inborn drive. That was his book, and where he talks about instinct and how instinct must be aligned to coincide with your destiny. And he goes on. He also says, well, you know, it's important that we know the difference between instinct and destiny. And those differences are instinct is the way that we're wired, and destiny is why are we wired that way. So I'm also a believer in that these are sometimes God produced destinies, and if they are, and I'm a firm believer that if God is calling us to do something, we must step out in faith and do it. So, without belaboring and going on, and I give you my short version, but let's talk about these questions. And remember, a very wise man, once said, powerful people ask powerful questions, right? That should ring a bell. So, let's go on. Let's talk about this. So, the first question I think I would ask Billy Johnson. What does it mean to you to step into your calling or your purpose and your power? I think you're muted, Billy. Billy, I think you're muted. No, maybe not.
Um,
Okay.
uh,
Can you do a mic check real quick, Billy? I heard you before, but I can't hear you now. Okay, maybe that was it. Now try it.
Can you hear me now?
Absolutely.
Okay. Well, to step into my purpose, calling, or power means to step up and step out and not be afraid of failing, not be afraid of being judged, to walk in your passion, to know what your passion is. Your calling is something that you have so much passion about and you think about it and that's just it drives you to do that thing. And my passion is helping women. And I believe that's my calling and that's my purpose. And my power is speaking up and speaking out, stepping up and speaking out.
All right, thank you. So tell me, Atisha, what do you think about that? Do you, I mean, what do you think it means to step in your call? I mean, We heard Billy's version. What is yours?
Calling is such a powerful word and idea because we're called from some things and we're called to some things. Like myself, I was an old corporate girl, very focused on my career, very much kind of towing the line and wanting to climb that corporate ladder. But I was very unfulfilled in that. And so, even though these were good causes, I worked in the nonprofit sector, education sector, all of that was good. But I didn't feel like I was making my own mark in the world. So, I was not really walking in my calling, even though I was a productive citizen checking off all the boxes, as one might say. So, your calling, just like what was said, it really is a drive. I believe it's the thing that you would do for free if you could. It's the thing that that wakes you up. But one thing I would like to say is, a lot of times when we're talking about calling, we focus on positive, thing that kind of makes your heart sing. But when you think of the idea of that passion, it could be something that really tips you off, something that ruffles your feathers. Whereas I specialize in working with women and entrepreneurs, I'm very passionate about the treatment of our youth and the fact that we can't just try to police them and just over adult on them, but to make it so that they can find their passion at a young age and they don't do what most of us have done, which has gone years and years and even a full career or two before targeting and honing in on those special gifts that are God given. So, calling to me is that passion and drive, but it doesn't always have to be positive, but it's that thing that you want to see happen in life, in your day, and in your community.
Absolutely. You know, you and Billy both mentioned a word passion more than once. And, and that's great because I think it's a lot to do with passion as well. So I think you guys are hitting home runs on that one. Uh, Jessica, I have a question for you. How do you know? How do you know when you have found your calling or your purpose or your power? How do you know that?
When you're in alignment, like a trifecta with the power, purpose, and calling, you acknowledge your gifts and your talents of what you have to offer to everyone, and then believing it that you can do it, and then taking the power to follow through with it. And once that all works together, it's kind of like harmony, a trifecta, and everything just goes.
Absolutely. So with that in mind, Billy, let's continue on what Jessica was just talking about. So, when I think about that, what she was saying, and I'm thinking here to myself, I'm like, I wonder if that's something like when you reach a state of free flowing, you feel like, hey, you know what? No, I don't want to use the word I've arrived, but you have a feeling about yourself that you have accomplished something and you won't be deterred. What do you think about that, Billy?
I think that that is so true what you just said. It's a feeling. It's a fire shut up in your bones. It's something that you just feel. When you wake up, you feel. I'm sorry. Fire shut up in your bones. When you wake up, that's what you want to do. You want to help someone. When you go to bed at night, you're thinking of how can I help this next person? How can I how can I help them up? Whether I'm up or down, but how can I help them?
Mm. Something I'm not comparing here, but I noticed something again amongst all three of you. You all are talking about helping someone, helping that next person. That is such generosity that it can't be explained. So, my hats off to all of you for that generous offering that you're making here. So, continuing on, okay, Artisha, tell me something. I have a question for you. Do you think it is ever too late to find your calling?
You know what? I believe that there is one point where it is too late to find your calling, and that is when you have expired. But as long as you have breath in your body and a beat in your heart, it is absolutely not too late to find your calling. I do believe it is unfortunate, again, that some of us spend years and years, decades, before we tap into the real us, which is understanding those unique gifts, those skills, those things that folks are already seeking you out for, those questions that you always get asked, the people that automatically flow to you and just kind of follow your lead. Those are all what I call spiritual nudges. And I believe that our society, even our corporate structures, would look, and political structures would look completely different if we started having these conversations with young people at earlier ages to let them know that it is time to be brave and find that passion instead of just getting to one singular career track, sticking with that, because your dad was an engineer, then you become an engineer, or your mom was a teacher and you become a teacher. But knowing that it's really never too late, but in my opinion, the earlier the better.
You know, wow, powerful. Yeah, and and you say that, and I say, well, it's better late than never, because a lot of people say, well, I might get in heaven later. I'm just using this as an analogy. Well,
Mhm.
it's better to get there late than not to get there at all. And so sometimes we
Yeah.
find our calling later in life. We're not all built the same. That's my interpretation of it. And sometimes it takes us a little while to find our destinies. So, um, with that in mind, Billy, do you think that's something that we're born to do, our calling? Do you think that's something we're born to do?
Yes, I do. I think that there is something that we're all born to do. We all have a purpose in this life. Although at times with a lot of us, as with myself, life gets in the way, circumstances. We all, have different things that we've been through in our lives. It took me a while to recognize that there was a purpose for my life. I had to go through some things, you know, and the things that I went through helped me to understand my purpose, why I'm here,
Mm.
so that I can let other women know that, okay, we've been through that. I've been through it too. So let's come on. Let's go. Let's keep going. I always say, where you start is just the start. Where you go is up to you. Take the limits off and let's soar.
I tell you what, whoever listens to this recording today, by the way, I forgot to tell you, I just recorded. Um, Whoever listens to this recording today is going to get a wealth of information from you three ladies. I tell you that. So, and it's not even over yet. So because Jessica getting ready to give us some more great knowledge now. So Jessica, let me ask you something here. So I'm I am out here. I'm trying to find my calling. So I don't know what's going on. So how do you step into your calling? How do you do that? I mean, how do you go about doing it?
You have to be willing. That's the biggest thing. You have to be willing to step out of your comfort zone. You have to be willing to explore yourself as a person, to learn more about your talents and what you have to offer, and to grow. And you have to be willing to take action after you know what your calling and your purpose is, to step into your power. Um, then you have to find discipline and commitment to keep moving forward, because it's never going to be easy. It's never going to be smooth, because we're going to be continuously growing, learning, and there's going to be obstacles and roadblocks. But that's where you come back into your passion and your purpose to keep moving on into your power. Um, and I cannot emphasize enough, like the lady said, passion. You have to keep your passion, and you have to keep going. The biggest step is you have to be willing.
You know, I like what you said at the beginning about stepping out of your comfort zone, because a lot of times, some people, a lot of us, including me, I'm no exception, we are not very inclined to step out of our comfort zone sometimes, depending on what it is. But, you know, being the leader sometimes and being to make some kind of stand, you stand for what's right. You have to step out of that comfort zone. You know, I don't know if you all have heard of Lisa Nichols. Have you all heard of Lisa Nichols? You know, she's a really great professional speaker. And she said, you know, one must live from a place of infinite personal power. And she summed it up by saying, you know, you're meant for more. And if we're stepping into our calling, we're stepping into our power and our purpose, we are meant for more. And what we're doing, we're demonstrating that. And again, this is Nashism here, okay? This is not written down anywhere, okay? This is Nashism. So we must do things sometimes that give us discomfort. And I appreciate you saying that, Jessica, because a lot of times that's what makes the difference between being mediocre or up here. So thank you for that answer. Well, since Jessica elaborated on that, Artisha, I know we keep talking about it, but this is important. So how did you, have you stepped in your calling? If you have, what did you do to step into your calling?
Yes, I had a very, very difficult time. I will say that I am a woman of faith. I've been in church all my life, and I knew that there was a calling on my life. I knew that I was meant to help people, and I knew it would be something in terms of kind of counseling, advice giving. But all those many years ago, I didn't have the language to say what it really was, and I had no idea what that vehicle was. So fast forward some 20 years, I was again chasing a check instead of letting it chase me. And I was working on a construction site. So again, not too much unlike my co-panelists. And just because it was one of the better paying jobs in the area, but it was only working at that job that I became very, very ill. And during about a 7 month span, I spent 26 days in the hospital, literally fighting for my life. And I thought that was the end. And I was face to face with a very unimpressive legacy. I don't have birth children, but what I was really faced with was my nephews and nieces who are like children to me and my godchildren. What impression have I really made on their lives? What will they say about me when I'm gone? What mark have I made in their lives? And I just felt like it was not enough. I felt like it was not enough. And so I committed to myself out loud to any hospital staff person who would listen to me, as well as my family members, that if I was released, if I got out of that bed, instead of going from the bed to a pine box, okay, if I got out of that bed, that I would live life differently. And what was impressed upon me, and I do believe that it was God given, God breathed, I felt it so deep in my soul, is that my purpose was to highlight and help others discover their purpose so that they wouldn't find themselves in the situation that I was in, fighting for their lives and not leaving much behind them. So my mission is that folks don't have to go through the process that I did, but that they ask themselves the right questions, that they are brave enough to say what it is they want in life and go after it.
Well, listen to that. You know, I'm going to say this, but everybody that I've heard here today has keep talking about a higher power, God or other. But to me, it's all about that. And I'm not going to sit here and, you know, preach about it today, but, you know, because my wife and my pastor, I'm first due. Okay. And so that's what we do. And when we're talking about all of this today, I'm like, man, listen to these ladies here. They keep talking about stuff that's very near and dear to me. Mm-hmm. And, you know, each one of you shared something that was very near and dear to you. Jessica, you had some things that you shared very near to you. Billy, same with you. And Artisha, you. All of you have shared something that's very personal, but you're willing to, as Jessica put it, you're willing to step out of that comfort zone. Wow, outstanding. So you kind of segue into what I was going to ask each one of you now. And maybe I should have done it first, but I kind of might be backwards. But I'm going to ask you anyway, each one of you. Do you know what your calling or your purpose is? And how do you know? And since you kind of already said it, Atisha, we'll come back to you in just a second, but I'm going to go to Billy and let her respond to that. Billy, do you know what your calling? Do you know what your purpose? Do you know what your power is? And how do you know that?
I believe that my power is my voice, and my purpose is to speak up for my sisters that haven't found their voice yet, to stir some things up in them, to let them know that, although all of us haven't had it, an easy beginning, but just because we've been through some things does not mean that we're not worthy of pursuing success and pursuing happiness. It gets back to what I said, where you start is just the start, but where you go is up to you. And I want to be that woman. I am that sister that shows them that this can be done. You know, I'm we might be the underdog in the fight, but we're in the fight. Let's get in the fight. Let's go. Let's do some things because we all have a purpose.
Outstanding, great. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Jessica, ready to partake some more knowledge to us, impart some more knowledge. So, I have a question for you. Um, do you think there's a formula for determining what your calling or purpose is? Do you think there's a formula out there somewhere for determining that? But that's a two-part question. Because first thing I do want to know, do you know what your calling is, and how do you know? But the other part of that is, what is that formula? Or is there? It may not even be a formula. I don't know.
I will go. All right. For the first question is, I believe my calling is to help others rediscover their power by shifting their mindset and empowering women to achieve more. I know that this is my purpose and power. This is my purpose because everything just has led, all the moments that have led up in my life has led up to this moment to help others. Kind of like, you have a memory that happened 20 years ago, and then you're like, that's why it happened. Now I'm here to help. You can go help others. And then, as in my power, I will continue to take action, and I will keep fighting for women to help women achieve the unthinkable. And as a formula, I do believe there's a type of formula, because if you don't take the time to listen to yourself, you're never going to hear that calling. When you fulfill your life with negativity and toxic and things like that, your voice inside is going to become a whisper, and you're not going to be able to hear that voice that calls to you that, hey, you got this. Oh, you can do this. Keep pushing forward. So the formula to finding your calling is to be more spiritual, religious, keeping quiet to hear yourself, quiet the negative thoughts, quiet the toxic surroundings, to be able to hear your calling, to do your purpose and follow through with your power.
Well, I think you read my notes. I think that's what you're doing, because I was just saying to myself, and a few minutes ago when I was talking about Lisa Nichols, one of the things that she said too was, you got to listen to your inner voice, because your inner voice is going to tell you, hey, your destiny is attainable. Do not stop now. Do not step back. Push forward. You know why? Because somebody, you may not even know it. Somebody might be counting on you, depending on you. And you know something? And all three of you, by the way, and I'd be willing to bet you in kind of money that you have you have models out there. You're a role model for some people. Some of them you know about, some of them you may not know about. But guess what? All three of you are role models. So I challenge you, each one, to keep searching that power. If you have already found it, compound it, compound it, compound it, and move more on that. Ms. Bolden,
Yes.
question. What is your formula? Do you have a formula?
I don't think it's a cookie cutter, one size fits all formula per se. But what I will say, I believe those who are most successful in life can do two things. One, surround yourself with like minded individuals who are achieving success, who, when you talk to them, they, number one, can be genuine and transparent with you to let you know if they are having a fulfilled life, a life that has joy, and then you ask them their steps. There is no reason, and shame on us if the generation that comes behind us, or even our friends and peers, step in the same landmines that we do. It's so important for us to share our stories. And like my sister said, step out of that comfort zone. So, first of all, there are three zones: there's the comfort zone, the stretch zone, and then the panic zone. So, you may not be comfortable just being full blast, full out. For instance, some folks aren't so comfortable doing a lot of things on social media live and things like that. But each one of us can reach the next one. And so when we share and we talk about that, I do believe that we can work together to help each other to grow and learn and uncover what our purpose and calling is. Because you find out what you like, you find out what you don't like, you find you find out what you're good at. And again, there are definitely some nuggets in there for the things that people always just so happen to seek you out for. If they may want your relationship advice, they may want your fashion advice, they may just want comforting words or prayers or encouragement from you. There are almost always keys in those things. So it is important to pay attention, to listen to those things, and to link with like-minded people so that you can spend and invest your time in uncovering what that is. So I think that's at least a part of the formula.
Okay. Now you said comfort zone. I'm writing notes, by the way. Comfort zone. What was the other one? Stretch
Stretch
zone, did you say?
zone, then
Okay.
panic zone. Yeah, the stretch
Okay.
zone is that meat and potatoes. That's where you want to be. Not just comfort and doing what you've always done, but being willing to stretch and try some different things, learn some things, and move forward with life instead of staying in the same place.
Okay. Billy,
Yeah.
tell me what you think about that. What do you think about your calling? I mean, some people say, that is my calling, that is my calling, but how do you know? And so I guess one of my questions is, we're talking about no matter who you are or what life experience is, what your calling and your purpose probably it lies at the heart of who you are, actually, I guess.
Mhm.
I want to ask you, I'm going to feed off what Atisha said a few minutes ago. She's talking about something you're good at. Do you think does it have to be one of your strengths in order for it to be a calling? Do you think you have to be good at something? I don't know. I'm asking the question here because everybody, 37,000, maybe more than that's going to want to know. Do you have to know? Do you have to be good at something for it to be a calling?
No, you don't. You don't have to be good at it. When God calls you, He equips you. You don't have to be an expert at your calling, because as you walk in your calling, God is going to give you that strength and that knowledge and that drive that you need. You know, I never thought that I would be an author of the book that I actually wrote, that I had been through those things, you know. But God gave me the strength to do that. And that opened me up to truly find my purpose. Before the book, I knew there was a purpose, but I didn't know what it was. So I believe that as you walk and you pray, you know, and you pray and ask for God's direction, then he will instruct you as you go.
Thank you so much for that. Uh, I have another question for you, Jessica, before we do a round robin type here. You know, I think you mentioned a few minutes ago, I think it was you, Jessica, that said you had to have mentioned something about faith. Actually, all of you did. But I think, Jessica, you said something about faith in yourself, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. When you when you say faith in yourself, and I'm saying it now, but can you elaborate on that when, as compared to having faith in yourself and stepping out of that comfort zone that you mentioned?
Oh, yeah. Um, Faith in yourself, faith in God, and stepping out of that comfort zone, it is building up the courage to know that with the faith you have, you're going to be okay no matter what happens. Like if it goes no means not yet in my vocabulary. So you have faith in yourself that no matter what happens, good is going to come out of it. And you just continuously, consistently be good and have faith in yourself. And that comfort zone's not so, or stepping out of that comfort zone's not so uncomfortable. You learn to thrive off of it more than be fearful of it.
Great. So, you know, one thing I've heard that's similar what everybody said is about motivating, inspiring others, motivating others, and becoming the best version of yourself. So that goes a long way to me when you all say that. It resonates with me, and I'm like, wow, you know what? They got it. You guys really, I don't say guys, I mean, you ladies really got it. You really got it. So let me say that, you know, some of the takeaway from that question I just asked you is that all of you are remarkable and can achieve remarkable things despite seemingly impossible odds. And you, every one of you, all three of you told me about that today. The odds were stacked against you, but you still managed to go out there and meet your calling. You met your purpose. And guess what? You met your power. You have the power now. Okay. So to me, those are not lofty goals. Those are very, very achievable goals, and you did achieve them. And I commend you for going out there, continuing to help others. Because I wrote down some words here, some keywords that I kept hearing: passion, helping others, comfort zone, memories, actions. You know, actions that speak louder than words. Things like that. You know, strength, and above all, and yet we kept talking about faith and God. And that to me tops them all. Tesha, I made a error. I did not ask you to introduce yourself. I did get the introduction from Jessica and Billy. So I would be remiss. I would be remiss if I did not do that.
I can't hear.
Oh, it sounds like Billy can't hear.
Billy, you said you cannot hear?
Uh-oh, is he frozen?
Billy. Okay. Billy, let me see. I don't. Okay, while we're waiting for Billy, Tisha, if you would please, I'm so sorry. I was remiss. If you would please introduce yourself to us.
Oh, you can give me a chance. I slid right in there towards the end, and you allowed me to introduce myself.
Okay, wonderful. I didn't want to be on the record, on being recorded here as not being asked, So, okay. So now that we have covered the assigned question that we have talked about, let's do, if you will, if you have any comments or round robin style here, if you have any comments that you want to add. Billy, are you back with us yet?
Oh, she looks like she's still having fun.
Billy. Okay. I'm not sure. All right, Jessica, what's your takeaway from this right now, and what do you want to tell everyone that's watching and that will be listening?
The takeaway from today is Artisha and Billy are very enlightening and motivating. I was very fortunate to be able to join this group today. Some of the things, I guess, that extra I have to say is when you're starting on your journey of finding your calling, your purpose, and your power, is also remember to release your pain. Negative program has started very young in us. Consistently be good to be great. Keep your faith and just be the best self you can be every day and keep continuing to move forward.
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. That's good advice. That's good. That's some good strategy there. Artisha, what say you?
I definitely want to say it's been a pleasure being a part of this with these beautiful ladies and you, Dr. Nash. So thank you so much. And as a final or almost final word, I would love to share to everyone that you are the writer of your own story. The pen is in your hand. Don't let anyone define your path for you. Okay. And when you are moving forward, show up as your genuine, authentic self. Don't live in the shadows. Don't hide behind trauma, guilt, shame, any of those things. But the way to achieve success is to go after what you want. Be brave enough to say it out loud and truly go after what you want. And don't stop until you get it. My girl Tracy a couple of days ago, she said something that was so powerful, and that you're not a failure until you quit. As long as you keep pushing, then you have a chance to achieve success.
Okay, look like Billy may be coming back. She's trying to come back in. I want to offer her opportunity to say one. Billy?
Yes, I'm back. I'm
Well,
so
guess what?
sorry.
Your timing could not have been better because it's your turn now. I'm gonna put you on the spot though.
I had
That's
to come
okay.
back. I had to come back in on my phone. I hope that's okay.
It's okay, Billy, as long as you're here. So we were
Okay.
asking here, what was your takeaway, and what advice would you have for someone out there that's still trying to seek their calling or their power or their purpose? I mean, what's your takeaway and your advice?
My advice would be to continue to seek God. That's where our direction comes from. You continue to seek God, and don't be afraid to invest in yourself. Not some things that we need direction from different coaches and different things. For a long time, I didn't understand that, but I do understand in order to invest in my future and the future for my grandchildren, I have to invest in myself first. That's where it starts. And then I'm able to leave that legacy that I want to leave for them. So that's my advice. First and foremost, seek God for direction in which direction you should go. And then don't be afraid to invest in yourself. I investing in myself is the best investment I could ever make.
All right. When I began this segment here, I reminded you that powerful people ask powerful questions. Well, guess what? Powerful people today made some powerful statements. How about that? And I appreciate that because each one of you have contributed to what I believe is just some outstanding discussion here. And I think, well, I know that if anyone, whoever reads this or sees this, they will walk away a better person because they're going to be more knowledgeable, extremely more knowledgeable than they were before they started. Now, my 2 cents of it, and that's all I have, is 2 cents because you all already have taken the gamut on everything else. And if I keep asking questions, we'll be here another 2 or 3 hours. I'm not going to do that to you on a Friday. But, I gave you my short version of it before when we first started. And again, I just leave it with that. I'm a firm believer that if God is calling us to step out in faith, even if it's in the most minute way, we should take that step. Okay, that's just me. But I think you all have pretty much said the same thing. We must face our destinies head on with vigor. And we are who we are: professional speakers, professionals in our own arenas. And to me, meeting that, like you said, Jessica, stepping out of your comfort zone, Billy, you gave us so much important words today. Thank you. And Atisha, you're talking about your strengths and what things that you can do so well. And and I told you all about those key words and you all just so in tune with each other that it was just wonderful. Did you guys call each other before we come on now?
We'll never tell.
Okay, but you know what you said, and it is so true. And this is akin to me similar to professional speaking arena as well, because you have to face your destinies. And you all have told us about how you face your destinies today. And I really appreciate it. So any other parting words before I let you go back to your Friday evening? If not, on behalf of myself, and I know I can't speak for SUCCESSFEST21, but I know I have enjoyed talking to you 3 ladies today, especially on this Friday evening. And I hopefully and I pray that you all have a most wonderful, blessed weekend. Okay? Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Goodbye, ladies.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Goodbye, Dr. Tummy.
Bye-bye. Thank you all.
Thank you.